Welcome to another episode of the Sidley Dolman Guy podcast. Today I have my illustrious guest, Mike Furdock, who is our third-year law clerk. Mike, it's a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we're going to get right into it. Today we're going to discuss what's considered the hottest mass tort out there right now. And by mass torts, these are lawsuits, and it's usually a series of hundreds, sometimes thousands of lawsuits brought against a manufacturer of a defective product, a defective medication, a defective device. In this case, it's Paraquat, which is an herbicide. Explain what Paraquat is.
Yeah, so basically Paraquat came about in 1961. Its purpose was to kill weeds and used as an agricultural grass and crop control chemical.
So it's an herbicide.
It's an herbicide,
Yeah.
yep. However, this herbicide is extremely toxic to the point to where not only does it obviously work really well to kill weeds, but it's obviously killing people too. If you ingest this herbicide, you will have serious health problems immediately if you ingest too much of it. I'm talking like very small amounts.
So this is it's considered more dangerous than Roundup. I know it's been banned in 30 different countries.
Yes, now over 32 countries it's been banned in. The United States produces more than 10 million pounds of it a year.
Wow.
Yes.
So, and unlike Roundup per se, so Roundup, anyone can buy Roundup. We
Yes.
can order Roundup on Amazon. We could have picked up Roundup at numerous different outdoor stores like Lowe's or Home Depot or some outdoor stores where you can buy outdoor goods. This is different. So you need a license to spray this type of herbicide. So Paraquat's not something that your normal individual is going to get, your normal weekend warrior. So I would assume there's going to be a lot less volume of these type of cases.
Correct. There's going to be a lot less volume of these type of cases. However, the exposure to it is still very high because when you have there's different types of drifts and overspray.
Yeah, explain what's a drift and what's overspray.
Yeah, so what you have is a vapor drift. And a vapor drift, you would think that, strong winds may, blow this vapor from overspraying the product. And it would get into the air, people would inhale it, get into your skin. It's that powerful, almost like some type of virus.
So meaning if you live in a residence that's within close proximity of where it's being sprayed.
Yes.
How far do these drifts go?
The vapor drift could go for more than 1 mile.
Wow.
Yes.
And the particles, there's that much of a contingent of
There's
particles?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now, the actual overspray itself, the herbicide overspray itself, for example, if there's a pilot doing crop dusting work flying over farmland and whatnot, he likely is going to be flying over residential land to get to that farmland or while leaving that farmland. And any overspray is going to trickle down into the air that way as well. So you have people that, if you live or go to school within, a couple miles or, right around an area of a farm or a major agricultural center, you have the chance to be at risk of having ingested this at some point, even if it's trace amounts. And it's the trace amounts that are actually causing the problems because, like I said...
So you live in a close proximate location to farmland, you could have been exposed to this.
Yes.
How common is this being sprayed? Is this all over the 50 states?
It's... Right now, there's been 14 lawsuits filed in 3 states, California, Illinois, and Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But it's used pretty much in any of the main states that...
You're using old data, by the way. It's now up to 86 lawsuits. And they've been consolidated. So that's where I come in. But I'm going to catch you up with that up-to-date information in a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
86 lawsuits now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot. So then, obviously, it's not as rare as you'd think, especially because of the use of it. And, it's actually used in pretty much... I would say every major agricultural setting in the country where they grow any type of crops.
Okay.
And
by the way, even my information's outdated. So this is how quick it's growing. It's now up to 157 lawsuits.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, with 68 of those filed in the last 2 weeks. So we have 157 lawsuits that are pending. So this is what's known as multi-district litigation, MDL. And for our viewers who don't understand what that means is, whenever we see it's similar to a class action, but a little bit different. Class actions have to have commonality where it's the same exact issue repeating over and over again, affecting the same claimants. Okay, every claimant has the same basic common claim. This is a little bit different. Now, with multi-district litigation, what we're trying to do is we're trying to coordinate the litigation of thousands of lawsuits, which will eventually be in the thousands. It's going to grow quickly. into one courtroom in the country. One judge is going to oversee all the litigation. This consolidates it, makes it organized, and makes it a much more efficient process. And what will wind up happening is, with this coordinated discovery and coordinated depositions, there'll eventually be what's known as bellwether trials. In every multi-district litigation, regardless of what it is, whether it's Roundup, in the past, Accutane, Paraguard, Mirena, intrauterine device. I mean, there's a number of these different claims going on. We have what's known as bellwether cases, which is the plaintiff bar and the defense bar pick usually 6 to 12 cases that the fact patterns are diverse enough that they run the gamut of what we're going to see going forward. They basically give you a cross pattern of what you're going to see throughout the thousands of cases. And they try these cases, and it gives everyone a flavor of what to expect going forward. So if 8 of the 12 or 9 of the 12 go the plaintiff's way, they're more likely to get these cases settled and resolved across thousands of claims. And if it goes the defense bar's way, then obviously it's going to curtail future litigation, and they're going to settle these cases for a lot less, sometimes even pennies on a dollar.
Yeah.
That's happened with mass tort projects. And apparently the science is pretty strong in this one.
Science is extremely strong. I mean, you don't
It's banned in 30 countries.
Yeah, in fact, the United States, not only do they require a license to spray it, what they do is they actually, when they make it, include a certain blue dye. Not only do they include a blue dye to distinguish it from other liquids, but they also give it a very strong, pungent odor.
Okay.
So you should be able to see it and smell it. Now, if by chance you still ingest it, they actually put a chemical-inducing vomiting component.
I heard about that.
In the Paraquat substance, because they want, if you ingest Paraquat, you need to try and get it out of your system immediately. So that's why that's put in there.
So I'm asked, what is Parkinson's disease? We know Parkinson's disease is a neurological disorder, as I discussed earlier. Take me through, what are the different stages of Parkinson's disease? What does the average, because a lot of individuals don't know they're actually suffering the very beginning and the early stages of such. What are the indicators?
Correct. Well, basically there's 5 stages of Parkinson's. Your first stage is going to be very mild, minor, motory symptoms that usually don't affect your everyday activities.
Okay.
Could be some changes in sleep, could have some changes in posture or walking, but nothing noticeable to the effect that you start thinking, oh my God, I might have Parkinson's, or do I have Parkinson's, right?
You might not realize you have a neurological disorder. You just have some issues, and you're putting it off. And so if you're located within close proximity adjacent to farmland or agricultural center, and you're noticing some mild tremors, what else would you notice? Is there any?
Well, I'd even say if you're noticing any mild tremors or potential side effects or symptoms of Parkinson's disease, I would say, obviously get checked immediately, whether you live next to farmland or not, but you should definitely find out whether or not you may be starting to develop Parkinson's, because there's not just that one stage. Like I mentioned, there's 4 more. There's 5 total stages.
Yeah, go through them.
So, the symptoms after, in stage 2, tremors begin to start occurring. So, which is obviously a lot more serious. You start having rigidity body movements. You can't sit still. Now, people could still live on their own with this, but life starts to become more difficult.
You clearly have a neurological disorder going on.
Yes, and
whether or not it's Parkinson's, you have something that warrants immediate medical attention.
Yes, exactly, and should be checked. When you start to get to the 3rd stage, as they call it, the mid stage. Yep. Right. Now you're going to start getting that loss of balance, that slowness and whatnot, and movements. You have problems eating. Directing the fork or spoon to your mouth. Because
also getting dressed will be an issue.
Yes, getting dressed would be an issue. Tying your shoes, anything like that. And also another thing too is you have a higher likelihood of falling. Yeah, which could cause other injuries. Yep. Yes, it goes hand in hand balance, and that's another thing. So as they continue to worsen, basically individuals, they may be able to stand without help. But any type of movement they want to do or need to do is going to be with either the help of a cane or walker or someone else helping them. And the scary part when you get to this stage is that you should no longer be living alone. It is not recommended.
It's not safe.
In fact, that you can't really. It's not safe at all.
What's the 4th stage?
Well, that was the 4th stage.
Oh, it's past mid-stage.
Yep,
okay, I apologize. And the 5th stage
is... the 5th stage is... Now this is where the most severe symptoms are going to occur. There's going to be stiffness in legs. it's almost impossible to walk or even stand up. That's
you're
how
usually
weak.
wheelchair bound at that
Yes,
point.
that's how weak your muscles are and your motor
So
skills
sad.
are.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And believe it or not, it also is gonna. You could also have hallucinations
Mm-hmm.
too that may occur and cause other issues. So it's a very scary thing. And if you start to get any of these symptoms, in those early stages, again, regardless whether you live next to farmland, you should get it checked out, because even if you don't live next to farmland, maybe you're exposed in a different way.
And there's a 2017 study by the Unified Parkinson's Advocacy Council. I'm looking at this statistic right now, which is pretty alarming. It suggests that the individuals who've been chronically exposed to Paraquat have a 600% greater risk of developing Parkinson's disease.
Yes, and there's been several studies on
And we
that.
cite that on our website. There's 7 other studies that have been cited that indicate or create indicia of the link between Paraquat exposure and Parkinson's disease. So, wow. And we'll only learn through discovery. What did Syngenta know? What did Chevron USA know before not only bringing this to market, but while they had this at market, why didn't they pull this off when they knew that this has been banned in 30 countries?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a strict product liability case,
Correct.
more or less.
Yep.
So, and at the end of the day, if you have or have been diagnosed with Parkinson's, or a loved one has that or someone call us.
We want to see if there is a causal link. Are you near an agricultural center? Do you live within close proximity or adjacent to farmland?
It could contaminate water too. The runoff could get into the soil.
It gets into the aquifer.
Yeah, it binds to the soil, gets into the soil, and could run off, contaminating water. So now
I would assume there's
waters.
thousands of cases of Parkinson's disease where individuals did not realize that there might be a link, and they could have been exposed to Paraquat.
Yeah, because it could happen at any time, even from when they were younger. That's once the smallest amounts of ingestion happen, potential problems start to occur. It immediately travels to the organs, liver, heart, kidneys,
question.
lungs.
If you're chronically exposed
yes,
over and over again,
it's
my God.
even worse.
No, the defendants are Syngenta Corporation and Chevron USA, are the main manufacturers
big ones.
of Paraquat, which is sold under a bunch of different names. These cases now are being filed in the Southern District in Illinois. That's where it's all been put together. It's where the multi-district litigation class is. The question is, how long is this going to go? But what I really want to discuss at this point is the causal link they're trying to display is between the use of Paraquat and Parkinson's disease. And Parkinson's disease, as we know, is a horrifying neurological disease. We a lot of individuals out there know Michael J. Fox, and it quickly deteriorates your nervous system, and the effects are seen. They're crippling, and it's very pronounced and it's very quick. And there's no cure for Parkinson's disease. And right now, they believe there's a strong scientific link between the use of Paraquat or Paraquat exposure and the incidence, the onset of Parkinson's disease. And that's what we're looking for right now. We're investigating these cases nationwide, and in states where we're not licensed, we associate with local counsel to be in compliance with the local bar rules in each specific state. But we're handling these cases nationwide. And if you have any question, if you've been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, you or a loved one, or have any other health concerns or health issues related to the exposure of Paraquat, if you were located in land that is near, adjacent to, or within close proximity of farmland or an agricultural center, give us a call. We're available to you day and night and 24 hours a day. Our local number here in Tampa, Florida is 727-451-6900. Our national number is 833-55-CRASH. We're a personal injury law firm, but we do